If you are coming to Iceland for the first time, here are 9 tips that I think everyone should know before they visit Iceland for the first time. But before we get started, I'm going to put up on the screen here a short description of all the tips we'll be covering in this video. So if any of these following topics have come up during your research of Iceland, great! I'm here to help you out with that. If you have any questions about anything else Iceland related, be sure to subscribe to our channel and write a comment about it here below. And who knows, we might make a video about your comment. I work at Up Reykjavík. It's a small travel company located in Reykjavik, Iceland. We love to help people navigate our beautiful country, and we specialize in small group experiences. So if you are thinking about coming to Iceland, or even if you have your ticket already and are well into your planning stages, make sure to send us a line and let us know how we can help you plan the best trip you've ever been on right here in Iceland. Now let me tell you about the 9 tips I think everyone should know before they come to Iceland. Not everyone knows this, but when you land here in Iceland, you're actually not landing in our capital, Reykjavik, you're landing in Keflavik. This can be very confusing, especially since many search engines or even your flight ticket might tell you that you're landing in Reykjavik International Airport. But there's actually no airport with that name. The airport in Reykjavik is a domestic airport, and the only international airport we have is Keflavik International Airport, which is located in, you guessed it, Keflavik. Keflavik is a city about 45 minutes away from Reykjavik by car. So when you land here, you have to give yourself at least 2 to 3 hours to get out of the aircraft, go through customs, go through the airport, find your transportations, and drive back to the city, and so on. The cheapest and best way to get from the airport into the city is by taking the flight bus. You can get tickets to the flight bus both online and at the airport, and the flight bus leaves with every flight. You can also easily hail a taxi or book a private transportation beforehand, but that will definitely cost you a bit more money. When choosing your accommodations in Iceland, I would always recommend that you stay within or close to the 101 central downtown area of Reykjavik. If you do that, you are within walking distance from the major downtown attractions, all of the restaurants, the bars, museums, and so on. This also means that you won't really need a rental car, since you will be close to any of the pick-up locations they have for any day tours you might have scheduled during your stay here. Especially if you're only here for a few days, I would hands down recommend staying centrally. Does it cost a bit more money? Probably, compared to the smaller towns of Iceland. But also think about it. If you don't stay here centrally, you're also spending money on transportation, and more importantly, you're spending precious travel time when you're navigating to and from the major downtown attractions. If your stay is for more than a few days, however, I would definitely recommend that you start your journey in central Reykjavik or end your journey in central Reykjavik. And then for the rest of the days you have, I would explore the island, drive the ring road even, and choose your accommodations there along the way. Iceland is the second smallest country to have its own currency, right after this country? How do you pronounce that?
Seychelles.
Seychelles. Seychelles. And our currency is krónan. The numeric value of krónan is quite high compared to the US dollar or the euro, so it can be quite tricky to wrap your head around what the actual value of the krona is. The great thing is, you don't really need to. Here in Iceland, every place is going to accept cards. If you're driving in an isolated town, somewhere way out in the countryside, you might, potentially, possibly, probably not, but maybe run into a place that doesn't accept cards. Well, like I said, it's really unlikely. So of course, it's always good to have some type of physical money with you just in case. And if you want to tip someone. Here in Iceland, tipping is never really expected, but of course always appreciated and not rude like some people think. I think the rule of tipping here in Iceland is if you're just grabbing a quick bite to eat or a drink, really no need to tip. But if you get a really great and personal service from someone, completely acceptable to tip them. And you can also do so in your own currency. So again, really no need to have a krona. Iceland has gained popularity as a travel destination in recent years, or ever since that volcano with a really hard name erupted in 2010. You know the one, Eyjafjallajökull. Now people are flocking in from all over the world to experience the wonders of Iceland, which is fantastic, but it also means that in a high season, some travel destinations and tours might get sold out. So I would always recommend for you to pre-book as much as you can before you arrive here. If you're coming here and looking to do a tour to explore the island, choose wisely. Some companies do these big bus tours, cram like 60 people in there, and that can easily feel overcrowded and impersonal. We, on the other hand, here at Up Reykjavík specialize in small group experiences. But with smaller groups, you have fewer seats. And that means the tours are more likely to sell out, which gives you an even better reason to book with in advance. To give you one example, our #1 most popular tour is the Reykjavik Food Walk, and that is a small group experience that walks around the city of Reykjavik with a fun local guide who introduces you to the Icelandic culture and history throughout delicious Icelandic food. The tour takes approximately 3 hours, covers all of our favorite local downtown restaurants, and the maximum capacity for this tour is 14 people, which results in a better and more personal experience, we think. So this tour is very likely to sell out. If you would be interested in joining a Reykjavik food walk when you're here in Iceland, check out the link in the description of this video. Use the promo code 9tips when booking your food walk for a little added discount. On me! So to sum it up, pre-book as much as you can before you come here. And speaking of booking tours, a great tip for you guys, don't just stay in Reykjavik. Go out there and explore! Iceland has the main ring road that goes all around the island. It's a very popular thing for travelers to come here, rent a car, drive the ring road, and hit up so many amazing natural spots along the way. And I would definitely recommend you guys do this. Especially in the wintertime, for people who are not used to navigating icy, windy conditions, this can be a bit tricky. And this is why day tours all year round are ideal. They pick you up right here from the city, take you to a specific part of the island. A guide will be there every step of the way with you, telling you about the things you're seeing and experiencing along the way. And then when you're done, they drive you right back to the city. So no need to worry about driving in risky conditions. If I had to choose my top 3 favorite day tours, I would choose the Golden Circle and Secret Lagoon, the South Coast Tour, and the Snæfellsnes Peninsula Tour. All are so much fun, you see beautiful views along the way, and I couldn't recommend it more. I will link them all here below. A really important tip, in my opinion, is to explore Iceland with the seasons. Here in Iceland we get all 4 seasons, but spring and fall are really short here. So to sum it up, I would say we basically have 2 seasons, the summertime and the wintertime. People are always asking us, what is the absolute best time to visit Iceland? And truthfully speaking, there's no best time to visit Iceland. It all comes down to what experience you want to have here. So here are a few examples of what you can do in each season. The winter season here in Iceland stretches throughout the end of September and throughout March into early April. This season has lesser daylight and colder weather. And the further you get into the winter season, the less daylight you have and the more coldness you have. Which makes sense, don't you think? This is also known as the Northern Lights season in Iceland. So if you're coming here to watch the magical Northern Lights, you have to come here in this season. To see the Northern Lights, you need darkness, clear skies, and high Northern Lights activity. We have a more detailed video about this subject on our channel, so please check that out if you're interested in coming here in the wintertime. Another winter activity here in Iceland is snowmobiling and ice cave exploring. The ice caves melt in the summertime and reform in the wintertime, so the ice caves here are constantly changing. But ice cave exploring is an activity you have to do as a tour and with an experienced guide. Another great thing about visiting Iceland in the winter season is that the holidays here are truly magical. No one celebrates Christmas and the New Year's like us Icelanders. And I think everyone should experience the holidays at least once in their lifetime here in Iceland. If you are coming here in the summer season, you're coming somewhere in late April until the beginning of September. And this season has warmer weather. Hopefully. Pack your rain gear. Just in case. A thing you can only do in the summertime here is to see the adorably cute puffins. In the summertime, the puffins take a break from living out at sea and they come to Iceland to breed. And you only have to go an hour from the Reykjavik harbor to see a giant puffin colony. So a puffin tour can be a great activity here in the summertime. It departs from the Reykjavik harbor and it only takes an hour. Another thing that you will experience here if you're coming in the summertime is our famous midnight sun. With its peak in June and July, make sure your hotel has blackout curtains. If not, do pack a sleeping mask because trust me, you will need it. During the high peak of the midnight sun, the sun never really goes down. It kind of just lowers and then goes right back up. And then of course we have activities that you can do all year round that don't depend on any specific season. You can do a Golden Circle tour and a South Coast tour all year round. You can do a whale watching all year round. You can check out our geothermal swimming pools and lagoons and so much more. The name of the island itself, Iceland, should give you a pretty good idea about what you're in for here weather-wise. However, way too often we see people that are unprepared and underestimate the Icelandic weather conditions. So my tip for you is simple, don't do that. The average temperatures here in the summertime are from 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. And in the wintertime, the average temperature are about 0 degrees Celsius. And you might think to yourself, hey, that's not that bad. But what will get you here is the wind. And with that, the wind chill. And if you're not used to a colder climate, the wind chill here can feel really cold. Another thing is that the weather can change here so quickly. And the phrase, If you don't like the weather in Iceland, just wait 15 minutes. Might sound like a joke, but actually, it's the truth. So no matter the season, dress accordingly. And remember that layers are your friends. It's way better to have a few too many layers on and then be able to take them off, rather than you not having them and really needing them. And if you live in a warm place and you don't need to own winter gear, no problem, you can easily rent it here. Check out companies like Iceland Cover for that option. The weather warning system here in Iceland follows an international standard and is a color code system that estimates how much social impact the weather might have. With green meaning all clear, then yellow, orange, and finally red stating that it might have much social impact. It is so important to watch the weather and condition forecast here closely, especially if you're driving around yourself. And for that, I would recommend savetravel.is. There you can also register for weather updates and alerts. My next tip for you is super simple. Iceland has so much history and culture to explore, and you can easily do it in Reykjavik. So even if you're only here for a few days, no worries, you can definitely pack a lot in just one day. Go check out the history of the first people who came here to Iceland at the settlement exhibition. Check out Perlan for a wonderful natural show with a man-made ice cave and a planetarium in there. And you know what? The Phallological Museum, actually quite interesting. And I mean definitely unique. We have fantastic coffee shops, restaurants, bars, bookstores, you name it, all right here in the city. So definitely take a day, wander around Reykjavik and explore. Iceland has been voted as one of the most expensive places in the world numerous times. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that Iceland is not expensive. However, I think people come here way too often and waste money on things they don't really need to be wasting money on. So here are a few money saving tips in Iceland from Guðni. Number one tip is super simple. Drink the in my opinion, one of the best money saving tips here is to drink the water from the tap. Iceland has the best water in the world. Every time you buy bottled water here in Iceland, an elf dies. Probably. And that's not nice. Any faucet here will have fresh glacier water with nothing added to it for you to enjoy. Choose tours that will give you your money's worth. Like we talked about before, some of the tours here can be big bus tours that feel rushed and impersonal. It might cost a few dollars less, but is it really worth it? Look for tours that will leave you with an experience you were happy to pay for. For example, if you look at the price of the Reykjavik food walk, which is about $115 US, that is a tour that takes you to approximately 5 different local restaurants and gives you food at each location. A meal here in a restaurant in Reykjavik might cost anywhere from 30 something to 50 something US dollars. So if you put it into perspective, it is actually cheaper to do the Reykjavik food walk than to go to 5 different restaurants here in Reykjavik and order a meal. So my tip for you is just to read about the tours and read about the experience each tour has to offer before you just look at the price and decide if you're gonna do a tour or not. Another money saving tip is to buy alcohol when you're passing through the duty-free section at the airports. Here in Iceland, alcohol is heavily taxed and super expensive, and you can only buy it in state-run liquor stores that have specific opening hours and in bars and restaurants. So my tip for you is when you're passing through the customs here is to make sure to use your alcohol allowance of 6 units. And yeah, that's a real thing. You can also join a brand new tour that is the Reykjavik Food and Drinks Tour. It is a brand new tour that we just started operating now. On the Reykjavik Food and Drinks Tour, you get to learn about the city and history, just like the food walk, eat delicious food, but also it is paired with Icelandic drinks. Super good, super tasty. You walk around, you meet people, eat food, drink great drinks. What's not to love? And if you're interested in that, definitely check it out here below. Don't shop at overpriced stores like 10-11 and Krabben. Sure, they are open longer, so they are more convenient. And if you find yourself late at night needing just one thing, toothpaste, milk, whatever, pop on over there, get that. But if you're making a big purchase to bring back to your accommodations, don't shop there. Look for cheap stores like Krónan and Bonus. There's actually a bonus store on the main shopping street, and you know you found a bonus store when you see a big pink pig in front of it. Oh, and don't forget your Costco card if you're gonna drive around the island, because we have one Costco here in Iceland, and there you'll find the cheapest gas in Iceland. Last but not least, you can travel here in the off-season, so from January until the beginning of April or in the end of September throughout November. Perks of traveling in the off-season is that accommodation is usually cheaper, the main sites are usually less crowded, but there are still so many fun things to do, so definitely check out that option as well. This is it for my 9 tips that I think everyone should know before they visit Iceland for the first time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out the description of this video for the links to any of the following tours or things I have mentioned here. Subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more Iceland related content. And I'll see you next time in Reykjavik. Bye!